Okay, and thanks for your patience, folks. I appreciate that. I think everybody that's coming is now here. I appreciate for those of you who have answered the question in the polls, and I'll just kind of share with you the answers of where everybody sits so that you'll understand the rest of the audience and kind of what we're trying to get out of today. It looks like about 90% of you are either technology coordinators or a director of technology. So what we'll try to do is make sure that we, steer it in a way that makes sense for you folks. And again, we're going to try to make this as interactive as possible. So please feel free to use the question and answer. If we've missed a point or you have questions, let me know. Are you currently a Troxel or CDI customer? And the answer is about 65% of you are, so that's good. And the other 38% will get to learn all about us today, so that's also good. The majority of you actually have, more than 63% actually have a good percentage of your classrooms covered with document cameras, 25% have a few, and about 13% have none. So we'll try to address kind of the how do you get started, how do you improve, and then what you want to do if you have a lot of teachers using them, how we can make them more effective in the classroom. In terms of learning outcomes, 75% wanted to determine if they should upgrade their existing document cameras, which is not really surprising considering kind of this life cycle of the technology. And I'm going to make sure my partner Eddie talks to their program and how Lumens has a program to help you do that and why we should be doing that. About 40% said they want to learn about the ability to, how teachers can use it more creatively. So we'll talk to those things as well. And integrating with other technology, again, I think that world has become simpler than it has been in the past, but I know Ed, who will do most of the heavy lifting today in terms of presentation, we'll make sure we address all of those. And we had a pretty even split on the demo program, so maybe we'll talk to a little bit about how that works, what's available to you before the end of the process, and again, if that's something you're interested in, we're happy to participate. So I'm gonna end the polling now, where we're going to get into the meat and potatoes of the session. And I appreciate again you taking the time to answer those questions today. So the agenda, from an agenda standpoint, is I'll do a quick introduction about Troxel CDI and kind of what the merger means to customers like yourselves, and a real quick, maybe a 2-minute commercial, if you will, on where we are positioned in the marketplace today. I'll take a minute just to give you my observation about document cameras in the classroom today, and then, as I said, I'll turn it over to Eddie Boyett, who is from Lumens, who will do most of the heavy lifting in terms of that technology and its utilization in the classroom today. And of course, we encourage you to ask questions all the way through the presentation, and we'll pause at the end to make sure we answered all the questions. If you pose a question to us that we don't have an answer for in the session today, we commit to getting back to you within 24 hours with an answer to that question. The session itself is being recorded, and we will share with all of you the recording link. And it takes about typically between 24 and 48 hours to put that together. So you can expect probably at end of day Friday that you'll have a link to this session if you have peers you want to share it with, or if you're a technology coordinator and you have some curriculum folks or instructional folks that you think would benefit from seeing what we're going to show you today. So it's commercial time, so let me tell you a little bit about the new Troxel CDI, if you will. As you may or may not know, the two organizations merged at the beginning of July to form, I guess, one of the world's largest ed tech solution providers. Our mission, really, our new mission as an organization, is really to enable customers like yourselves to improve learning outcomes. And we think we could do this by assisting you through building classrooms for tomorrow today. So what do we have to do in terms of technology, furnishings, et cetera, to allow you to, really help kids learn how to do things for jobs that don't exist today, as we've talked about for quite some time. Just to kind of give you a scope of the merged organization, we serve about 70 million students across North America today that we provide technology to. We do business with about a third of all the school districts in the U.S. today, and we're hoping that that grows and grows and grows over the next couple of years for sure. And we've really kind of come together to be able to provide a full breadth of EdTech solutions by working with folks like Lumens. We have about 500 technology partners that we work with. Some are obviously premier partners that are critical. Others allow us to bring all of the accessories and everything to the table for you guys so that we can provide full solutions. So just to kind of give you a real high-level overview of what the merger means in terms of our offerings, we have a wealth of experience between the two organizations in the EdTech space. We provide what we believe are leading-edge and best-in-class solutions in a wide spectrum of areas, including AV solutions that include things like projectors for all kinds of requirements. So we have projectors for all your needs, whether it's classroom, meeting rooms, auditoriums, portable projectors, anything you need from a projection standpoint, audio solutions like front row for the classroom, or audio solutions for something that might be as complicated as school safety systems, etc. We have audio solutions from A to Z, digital displays, which are now trending large in education in both classrooms and throughout the school. We see them as menu boards in the cafeteria and, for school safety, for instant communication around the school and the campuses. Obviously, one of the big trends in education right now is interactive flat panel. It's probably the fastest growing sector that we see in education today. We have a variety of products that we serve in that area, and including accessories. So for all of those products, we also have carts and mounts and cables and all of the smaller pieces that allow you to utilize those things effectively in your environment. We also provide around AV, we provide design and installation services. So there's really no job too big or too small that we can't come with a solution, an cost-effective solution for you. From a one-to-one learning solution, we have a wide variety of tier one branded devices for students and teachers in both new products and refurbished products. So for those of you who have dealt with CDI in the past, you know about our refurbished products. If you are someone who's dealt with Troxel, then this will be a new offering for you. We have design and deploy services for one-to-one environments. We provide a variety of accessories around that, whether it's protective cases, carts, etc. We probably have, I think we have the industry best warranty coverage options. We have trade-in programs. We have EdTech as a service offerings, which allows you to pay per device, per student, per year, with a whole bunch of flexibility in terms of quantities. We have device and classroom management solutions that we can bring to the table with a huge catalog of professional development offerings to help you get more out of your technology in the classroom. From a collaborative learning space, we have STEM offerings, we have collaborative furniture offerings, we have applications and tools to enhance student engagement and improve social and emotional learning, all hot topics in the world of education. And we have specific solutions for educators to help manage your assets throughout the environment or improve your campus safety. So we think by blending the two organizations with all of the services and technology we provide, we bring a breadth of solution availability to the EdTech space in North America. And that, thank you for listening, is the end of the new Troxel CDI commercial, and we can move on with the balance of the day. So I just thought before I turn it over to Ed, which I will do shortly, I'd kind of give you my thoughts in terms of document cameras. I have the privilege, I guess, of being the product strategist for the merged organization. I work with customers like yourselves to understand the needs that you have, the ever-changing, evolving classroom, and really try to assess market opportunity, and then work with EdTech manufacturers like Lumens and a few, many others to kind of come up with best-in-class solutions. And really always what I'm always looking for is a benchmark that says, does this have an impact on student engagement? And does this have an impact or the ability to change learning outcomes? So there's a lot of really cool kind of leading edge, neat technology, but what I really look for in anything that we're bringing to the table is those two elements. That's the benchmark. Does it engage kids more effectively, especially in the world we live in where students today are distracted by all kinds of technology they're surrounded with. And with all the latest and greatest technology out there, I think the latest technology in document camera, although the technology itself has been around a long time, is probably one of the simplest, cost-effective, appropriate ways to improve student engagement in the classroom and to get creative in the way we change the way we present education, and as a result drive out net new learning or better learning outcomes. So that is just a very high level from someone who's looking at all kinds of technologies and thinking that this technology, not brand new, although there's a lot of new features I'll have Ed talk about, is one of the most cost-effective and simplest ways for your teachers to have an impact in their classrooms. So with that, I will mute myself, and I will turn it over to Eddie Boyett, who is the Northeast Region, hey, Ed, I just gave you a promotion, Northeast Regional Manager for Lumens. So, Ed, I know I've got the slides, so you just tell me when you want me to move along, and I will.
Okay, all right. So, document cameras in the 21st century classroom. I am first of all, I am a former teacher. I taught algebra at the high school level roughly 20 plus years ago now, and I used an overhead projector daily. Document cameras are essentially the 21st century overhead projectors, and with no transparencies required. So no more going and searching for transparencies or getting vis-a-vis marker on from your pinky to your elbow every day while writing like I did. But probably the biggest thing is document cameras allow teachers to display books, artwork, manipulatives, 3D objects, and so much more within a classroom environment. You'll see that students really pay more attention. They're more engaged into what they're looking at for multiple reasons. They can be a part of the class. Everybody can see what's going on underneath the camera, as well as potentially what's on their Chromebooks, what's on their iPads, all of those things. If we can go to the next slide, please. So there's several different factors, or I call them wow factors, but I've written down 5 here where I have found in my 12 years with Lumens what I think is really, really important for a document camera. The first being, it's a camera. So you can capture student work using internal memory, using a USB thumb drive or an SD card, depending upon what type of camera that you have. It's great for teachers to be able to review and reteach. I know for myself, that having to review items or reteach items sometimes was difficult. With document cameras specifically, a lot of cameras today have the ability to record video with audio. So if you'll look down at the last point there, you can literally flip your classroom. You can do a presentation and play the presentation for your students. Another great way is to be able to transform a microscope or make your microscope that you have in a science classroom basically into a display tool for the entire class. Several document cameras have the ability to hook up directly to a microscope. Some do it better than others, but you can hook up to a microscope and see what's going on underneath a microscope, or what you're actually trying to look at. Finally, as Glenn has already touched on, it improves student engagement or interaction during instruction. And I think for teachers, that is the biggest thing. They want their students engaged. They want them to be able to take something out of every presentation. Next slide, please.
Ed, we do have our first question, and that is,
sure.
Is there a wireless solution of getting the document camera image to an overhead projector. I guess that means like a projector. I guess it's a data projector or large interactive screen. And I think that talks to our next slide starts talking to that.
Yeah, so document cameras integrate with data projectors via HDMI, which is a high definition cable, or a VGA cable. You can connect via USB, or even with panels, TVs and monitors via cabling, as Glenn already spoke about in terms of the interactive panels. In terms of wireless solutions, there are wireless solutions out there. The company that I work for, Lumens, we have had a wireless solution for many, many years. We are in the process now of building a new wireless module or a wireless camera that will be out either a little bit later this year or first of next year. There are current wireless options available. I would just say be careful with your wireless options. Make sure that you have the ability to try it before you buy it. Simply because you don't want to have interference within the building with all of the devices that students have, that teachers have. You don't want the interference. And so what Lumens has done is we are looking to have a wireless document camera that basically does not, is not affected by any interference whatsoever. So that's what we are working on, and again, it will be available a little bit later, either this year or first of next year. So I'm excited about that. But Lumens has had wireless document cameras in the past. There are a couple, I think, that are still out there. Don't quote me on that. Like I said, I'm not exactly sure what the brands are that have wireless right now. But for the most part, there's two different types of cameras. One is a standalone document camera, which is connected via a HDMI or a VGA cable. And then there are USB powered or USB document cameras, which connect and are powered via USB. Next slide, please. And I hope that answers your question.
Ed, is there a typical workaround you see in the classroom? So if I am a teacher and I'm wirelessly connected to the projector with my device, and I hook up the document camera that way, does that give me that same ability to, demonstrate what I'm doing wirelessly, but wired obviously to the device?
Well, there's a couple ways to get around it, sure. One of the workarounds might be that you simply plug the document camera into your computer via USB, and then you have an app on your device that allows you to control your computer and what you see on your computer screen, and be able to throw that to an interactive panel through a projector, interactive whiteboard, whatever the case may be. So there are some workarounds. Again, it's when you talk about document cameras, though, you don't want to see a lot of lag. You don't want to. You want the frames per second to be true, because if you don't, you can be doing something underneath the camera, and then when you stop doing that, you want it to show on your screen that you've stopped. You don't want it to keep going. So again, it can be difficult. It can be difficult to get a wireless solution that works 100% of the time. But again, if you have the apps or the software that's necessary to control your computer from a device, then sure, those things are also available. In addition to that, document cameras work with interactive whiteboards. They work with interactive projectors, interactive flat panels. When I say interactive, meaning there's a software built in with those devices that the document cameras can seamlessly integrate with. This is something, and I'll kind of tease you guys a little bit, but this is something that Lumens does very, very well, because we provide free on-site professional development with our cameras. And I'll go over a little bit about that later in the presentation. Next slide, please. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about Lumens. You've got a general understanding now of document cameras, kind of what they do, what they are. With Lumens, we are one of the leading manufacturers of document cameras, and we stress our image quality, our color reproduction as being the best in the industry. You know, the image quality for us is by far, you know, one of the best things that that you can have in terms of a document camera, because if you're using a document camera and your student in the back of the class can't see what is underneath the camera, then your camera's not doing you any good if it's not good for the entire class. So that's why we kind of start with our image quality and our color reproduction to make sure you're seeing what is actually underneath the camera. We have the best warranty in the industry by far. It's a 5-year unlimited advanced replacement warranty. If you ever have an issue with a Lumens document camera, we will take care of that immediately. I just saw a message come up here in my chat that one of the participants says that they love their Ladybug. And that's basically what we hear quite a bit. Our Ladybug document cameras are our portable versions of our document cameras. So yes, they are fantastic. As I just mentioned, we offer free professional development for the life of the product. So whether you buy one or whether you buy 10,000 units, Lumens, somebody from my company, will go to your school or your establishment, your business, whatever the case may be, and train your users on how to use the document camera. Because I was a teacher, I don't just tell you what the buttons do. I train on application for use in the classroom. And I think that's key for a lot of school districts. It's also great because principals, tech directors, superintendents know that if they buy a product, that their teachers will get the training for it. So that's very, very key. Lumens, we provide regional sales managers in most territories across the United States. We also have inside sales and customer support basically at the ready. Next slide. So we have a few different categories of document cameras. Like I said, Lumens, we're an optics company, so we make cameras. That's what we do. This is our specialty. We make portable Ladybug document cameras, again, standalone versions where you don't need a computer to use. And we also make USB versions where you plug in directly to a computer. The computer powers the document camera, as well as provides the image for the camera as well. We also, if you look to the right of your screen, we also provide platform document cameras. These are typically sold into media centers, science classrooms, things like that, where you need a large optical zoom. That particular camera that you see on the right side there is our PS752, and it has a 20x optical zoom. So you'll hear Lumens talk a lot about optical zoom with our cameras. We also make ceiling mounted document cameras. These particular cameras, this one is located, if you look at your screen at the bottom of the page, it's like a little cylinder. It's has been one of our most popular document cameras over the years in situations where you want to show a large work surface or a large work area. A lot of vocational high schools use these particular document cameras in their culinary classrooms, in their automotive technology classrooms, things of that nature. So a few different categories, and I'll try to expand on each one of them as we go through. Next slide, please. So within our Ladybug classification, our first one is our DC-125 USB document camera. This particular camera is USB powered. It has a built-in microphone. It provides a 1080p high definition output through the computer. And you'll see it says 30 frames per second or 30 FPS, which is basically almost like real time. All right, so it has a few buttons on board the camera for your accessibility of the object of the camera. Has a built-in microphone. You can record video with audio directly to your computer. With this particular camera, you need software in order to access all the features and functions of this camera. The software is a free download on our website. This is probably our second most popular camera. But again, it is USB only. You have to use it with a computer. We consider this, I won't say entry level, but this is one of our more simpler document cameras. Next slide, please. So the DC-170, I call this our HDMI document camera. It has HDMI output. So you can connect directly to your projector HDMI to get that beautiful 1080p signal, which is basically if you have a flat panel or flat screen TV at home, you're seeing 1080p on that screen, and that's what Lumens provides within its cameras. It also has VGA output and USB as well, but this one specifically, a lot of schools buy it because of the HDMI. Now, this particular camera, again, it's a camera on a stick that bends, okay? So with the camera, it has a built-in microphone. It also has an SD card slot where you can record video and audio directly to that SD card. You can also do it directly to the base of the unit as well. It is compatible with all major brands of interactive whiteboards, and again, 30 frames per second. So no lag. You're not going to see it while you're using or connected via a computer or a panel or projector. So again, one of our more popular document cameras for the classrooms. Next one. Okay, so this is my favorite one. This is by far our most popular document camera. It has all kind of, I say all the bells and whistles. It is kind of the, kind of like for Lumens, this is the camera we sell the most of. It is by far has the most features and the most options for the dollar value. It has HDMI and VGA pass-through, meaning an HDMI in and out and a VGA in and out. What that means is you can connect your computer, your Apple TV, your iPad, your Android device, whatever the case may be, you can connect that directly to the document camera and be able to source back and forth between what's on your device or what's on your computer and what's underneath the document camera. That is a huge, huge selling feature for this particular document camera because of so many devices that are used in today's classrooms. Teachers today or students today have access to so many devices. They have their own personal devices. And so simply with an HDMI cable, be able to show that device and run that device through this particular document camera is huge. This camera also has a 10x optical zoom. It connects very well to a microscope. Something that Lumens does, we include our accessories within the box. So for example, this particular unit comes with 3 microscope adapters to basically give you the option of fitting your single ocular microscope. It also has a USB port where you can plug in a flash drive and be able to record your video and audio directly to your flash drive. And just like our DC-170, which you just saw, it also has an extra light on a gooseneck. Now, some may ask, well, why do you have lighting anyway? Well, you have light, obviously, to make sure that you have enough light for your subject, whatever you're showing. But also, we build our light. We have one of our lights is on a gooseneck. The reason for that is you can control where the hot spot may be. Typically, with most document camera brands, the light is right next to the lens. And as soon as you turn that light on, it creates a hot spot or a glare. And that can be very frustrating for the students. It can be very frustrating for the teacher who's trying to teach and use it. But because we build it on a gooseneck, just like our camera, just like the lens, basically we can move that light or that lamp all around. Okay, let's move on. And if you have, like I said, if you have questions throughout this, please don't hesitate to ask. I can be as flexible as necessary. Our platform camera is our PS752. Picture this as kind of like our DC-193, but on steroids. 20x optical zoom, the HDMI in and out again, and a large optical zoom. The AV, the audio video recording directly to the thumb drive as well. And this also comes with 3 microscope adapters. You'll notice that this has 2 lights built on goosenecks that typically will give you enough lighting, obviously for whatever that you're looking at. And they are filtered LED lights on all of our cameras. So just a little bit more information about the lamps. Next slide, please. Our ceiling camera, I talked briefly about it a little bit earlier. This is a 25x optical ceiling mounted document camera. It is used primarily in situations where teachers or professors or businesses don't want anything on the desk. They want to be able to come in and put something underneath this camera that's mounted in the ceiling and be able to use the document camera with the remote which it comes with. It does have a USB thumb drive, again, where you can record pictures, a video as well. It is also a PoE camera, which means you can power this camera over the internet. So if you have any questions about that, please don't hesitate. Okay, next slide.
I think that's it in terms of technology. Ed, so I know there's not a bunch of questions. So we did see some people at the beginning that talked about interest in refreshing the technology they have today. So what, in your experience, is the reason that most people choose to refresh, and what are the features that are the most likely to get people to think about it?
Yeah, that's a great question. So in my earlier years with Lumens, we had document cameras primarily that some of them didn't have optical zooms, some of them didn't have USB, some of them didn't have built-in microphones. Hello?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Yeah. Today's document cameras kind of give you everything with the ability to engage, interact with other classroom technologies as well in a seamless manner. I think what we do best and why we are so good at it is we do have a great kind of refresh program in place. And when you do refresh, we provide the training for the new cameras. So again, that's a huge aspect for Lumens.
And to that point, we are working obviously with Lumens in terms of a refresh program. Now it's a little, we have to make sure there's certain things in place to be eligible for it. So all I could say is this: if you have more than 15 document cameras you need to refresh or would like to refresh, then we should have a detailed conversation about that opportunity and what we think might be the right product for you, and what kind of discount we can provide if you're refreshing either somebody else's cameras or Lumens cameras. But it's a little complex to kind of explain to everybody all at once.
Yeah, and one other reason why you may be looking to refresh your new computers. Your new computers are going to be made up of different technology than what older cameras can connect to. So if, for example, you have a 10-year-old document camera and you have a brand new laptop, the software that runs that document camera is not going to be able to be accessed on that brand new computer. The chipset just won't allow that to happen. So you'll need to upgrade and update your document cameras. So if you do use it via USB, you will have that option. So that's another reason for refreshing.
Perfect. So at this point, we don't have a bunch of questions, and certainly please continue to send them in. But really, from a participant standpoint, what are the next steps for you? Certainly, we're happy to do a web session with anybody, any district, any school, in terms of a one-on-one to talk about the technology and to talk about what might fit your unique needs. And if you have a lot of you folks in the technology space may want to invite people that are in instructional to come and participate in that. We're happy to set that up. We do have a demo program, as does Lumens. So I encourage you to, if you're interested in one of the products Ed talked about, to reach out, and we'll talk about how we can set up a demo for you to use, to test, just try out and see if it's what you were hoping that it was. And as I said, we do have a refresh or upgrade program where you are provided with an additional discount if you're refreshing some older technology. So I would encourage you, if any of these things are interesting to you and you know who your Troxel CDI rep is, to reach out to them and they'll be happy to coordinate this stuff. If you don't know who your rep is, then you can use the generic info@cditechnologies.com. Unfortunately, we haven't merged the email names yet. That's coming, but for now, this will still get to the right place. And if you put document camera in the subject line, we'll make sure we address it and get you the right information quickly. Or you can just reach out to me directly, and I'll direct it to the right individual, and it's gcollins@cditechnologies.com. And we don't have a lot of other questions. You have my email. I'm happy to take questions after the fact. If you have anything that you could think of, please reach out to us and we'll get you the answers. But if that's it, then I really thank you for your time. I know how busy all of you folks are. So I hope you found it valuable. And from Lumens and from all the folks at Troxel CDI, thanks for coming, and we'll talk to you again soon.
Thank you.